I have a bit of a problem. Since I've become a Minecraft YouTuber, I've taken the habit of planning some things out. That started by just planning builds in Creative, which became using Litematica and now Axiom and whatnot to kind of get better at building, and I think it shows. I do think I've gotten quite a bit better since I first started out. However, I tend to get in my head a bit, and sometimes I do just want to play in survival and build in survival, but I kind of get nervous. I kind of start doubting myself, and I think, dude, can you actually build? So today, I'm going to try to get over myself, and we're going to stay in survival, we're staying away from creative, and we're just going to freehand everything. Let's see how this turns out. Right, so there's a few things I want to get done for today's episode. Part of the reason that we're trying to stay out of creative and out of planning too much is that I start school next week and then work the week after. And I am actually already working, but properly the week after. So I kind of want to take this last week to just play the game, you know, and make a pretty good video. And in the long term, I would think it'd be pretty cool if we could make our survival building skills kind of get toe-to-toe with our creative building skills. Of course, like every episode, we have to start with a distraction. Someone broke into my home. This was not like this. Though it seems to be bearing gifts, we have an other side music disc. We have a bread. Can y'all guess who might have placed this here? I think I know who placed this here. My diamond's upside down. And our book is here. Oranges are simple. Oranges are orange. Oranges have peels. Oranges have orange fruit. Oranges are simple. Oranges are oranges. Oranges are orange. Oranges simply are. Now, is this poetry or the ramblings of a mad person? Now, I have been up to a bit of stuff in between episodes. I started redoing my potion room here, kind of experimenting with how brewing stands interact with hoppers. Unfortunately, if I put a hopper here, it doesn't wait for the potions to be done before taking it and putting it in the chest. It'll just like pass right through. So I think I'll keep hoppers here and here in the barrels to kind of like mass produce things. So at least maybe I can add a bunch of bottles in here when I want to make a bunch of potions and a bunch of ingredients into here. So I'm thinking, let's say for the infestation potion, we put a bunch of bottles in here. I start with a bunch of netherwort here. And basically I do the same for all three. So when this becomes awkward potion, grab it, put it in here. Same for this. And once we're through that first batch, we put the bottles back into the barrels here. And then we do the same thing with the second ingredient and then the third ingredient. And the build I want to get done for today's episode actually has something to do with this. We have to make these potions for our shop in the shopping district, which is the XP farm shop. Express XP. Hope I see someone did up a path. He beat me to it. Cool. Let's see how this has been. We have a diamond here. I think Kenma used this last night. Now, talking about Kenma, we did go to the Nether last night. And got enough ancient debris to make netherite gear for the both of us. Only issue is neither of us have templates, so we might have to go and nag someone later to see if we can duplicate one. Now that Axo's shop is built here and the episode is out on her channel, I do want to show it off and see what we can maybe get in our place. Existing piece. Melody only, 1 diamond block is 4 bars. For melody plus harmony plus baseline, that's 2 diamond blocks for 4 bars. These prices might appear expensive, but considering the redstone and the actual composition part, I think is quite fair. Right, so I think we're gonna support the local economy. However, I am quite broke. Alright, so after all that mining, we do have enough for a few orders. For some reason last night while doing this, I thought a block of diamonds was 64 diamonds. Don't know why I thought that. But anyways, I'll go and put in the order soon. I'll let you guys know what it is when it actually comes in. I think it'd be more fun that way. Also, while I was on last night, I fixed up the XP farm a little bit. Nothing too major. We got a good sweeping edge sword here. That also has mending on it, so if you step on this block, you get the sweeping edge. You get your XP without taking any damage. So truly, an episode late, we fixed, quote-unquote, the XP problem. Alright, so I just got home, and we were left a gift. So actually, last night when I went to do all those errands and getting diamonds and whatnot, I stopped by Axo's place to give them a free trial of the farm. Last time they used it, the floor broke on them. So now it's all fixed up. I gave them a free trial for the farm. And also, while I was there, I may have given a few extra diamonds asking for a duplication of this template because I do not want to go exploring, and they followed through. So thank you, Axo. There we are. So that's good for us. And let's, while we're at it, go drop off a few gifts. The 1 and 2. There we go. Helmet, our leggings, chest plate, the feet, pickaxe, the sword, the axe, the shovel, and the hoe. I think Axo would be proud. Wow, this looks so much better, especially the helmet. Though I do think when I'm talking to you guys, I'm gonna still do this. Isn't this better? You can see a little bit clearer. Though, I would like maybe next episode, you know, I'm gonna be back in school and everything, maybe we can take some time to explore and try to get some armor trims that fit with our whole look. Now, before we actually get to building around the base, I think we're gonna continue with the last episode's kind of progress and rhythm. So last episode we got the attic done and the bedroom. So I think before doing something outside, let's get another room done here. And of course, it only makes sense to finish the potion room. Alright, that is so much cleaner. It's quite snug. So I did what I could. Here it is, little potion room. With the room we've got, I think it's quite cozy. I'm actually debating, do I keep the door? Or do we like to peek in? I do think I like the door, since you can still peek in. So all these are my infestation choker chests. Once these are full, like they are now, I'll have them either as backup or I'll bring them to the shopping district to fill up the farm, or the shop. Yeah, just have a little bit of stuff here to have some decor, just one lantern, a single lantern. We're not gonna actually use this, I believe. Maybe. Yeah. I don't think it grows enough. I'm not sure. And keep my stuff in here that I need. Now we have Thera's purple banner here, and I don't want to get rid of it. What I'm thinking is maybe we get just to keep it, you know, just have a bit of history. We spell out potion. It'd be fun. So I did go and get a bit more wool. I know banners are quite expensive, so I don't think I have enough. Yeah, it's 6 wool per banner. So we'll keep getting some background. That'll be something to do some other time. There's also something I've been putting off because I don't have a place to... Oh, it's in my inventory. To put it yet. So I think we're just going to do it. We're going to place it on a wall, so then I have to do it eventually. I want to like make a map of the place, just because I like maps a lot. Stick it here for now. Okay. Yeah, let's get at least another map. I was kind of hoping that our front yard would be more... Well, I mean, it's there, but, you know. And there we are. Kind of ugly. Now, to the main thing of the episode. Potion Dude's place. So I don't have a clear vision in mind, but I do want it to be in this frame, like I mentioned. So I think what I'm going to do to start off with is grab a bunch of dirt, and this terrain is messy. I don't want to just make it flat. Alright, I think that did a lot of good to the terrain. Terraforming is still something that I have a lot to learn about, and honestly should probably dedicate some time to actually just sit down and practice, right? But I do think this cleans everything up nicely. Now, I still don't know exactly what I want to do down here. So at first, I thought maybe it'd be cool to have like a 3-tiered system, or 3 like levels, so my house is up there, then we have a second level here, and maybe a 3rd layer of buildings down here. Honestly, probably only 3 or 4 buildings altogether with, because the space is limited if we do go with stuff of that size. But while terraforming it, I kind of felt like this would be a good spot for a pond. So I asked my wife and she said, yeah, it'd be nice to have a pond. If you look from above, it does kind of give off that vibe, and I did smooth out the edges even more than they originally were to kind of fit with that even more so. So I do think it could be cool. Maybe we have like the Potion Master's place there, have another snug build in here, and then we move out to this side of the area. I think that could be pretty cool. But with that being done, I think it's about time for me to stop procrastinating. And I think we should get to planning out the build that goes here. And by planning out, I don't mean creative planning out. We're going to get some netherrack and figure out our shapes and our scale. And then from there, actually start building the place out. Alright, so I'm just making some adjustments. Wah! This is kind of the shape I started coming up with, and I did like it. It's on a diagonal, little bit. But then I was like, okay, we'll leave this be for a bit. We'll come back after we've taken a break. So Thera was on, so we hung out for a little bit, quite a while actually. And now that I'm back here, I think the thing is way too small. It's not in scale with the house. It doesn't not fit scale-wise, but it just feels like so tiny compared to the house. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a block to everything, so we're going to raise the whole thing by 1 block. And I'm going to add a kind of base foundation layer to raise everything and to make it a bit different than what we have going on here. I don't know, I'll see how I feel once it's raised up on the foundation. It doesn't have to be as big as the house, not everything has to be the same size, but it does kind of feel small. Alright, so here's V2, and I think I'm just a bit too much in my head. Now, I know that I can build. I think in the back of my mind I know that this is meant for YouTube, so it kind of like triggers a little something extra, that little extra pressure, but I know that's on myself. So here's a frame. It's a bit hard to see maybe with the netherrack, but from this angle it's a bit better. I think this is where we're going to go with the base. It does look a lot like this, well, with the midsection here. But I'm not going to lie, I am struggling. I think this is better than what we had before. It is a bit more to scale, I believe, maybe fitting with our style. I actually wonder if this is too big now, but I think that's okay. How do we feel walking up to it is quite important. And for a while I was actually wondering if maybe putting a build here is crowding the area too much, right? Because I am really proud of the house here. I think it's very, very cozy. Like in this view, do we want another build? Plus, like even for this here, I think I might terraform this to be a bit more cliffy, like that. But I do think the more dirt and hill vibe that we have going on here, maybe even some moss eventually, looks nicer and contrasts against the stony like exterior that we have that the mountain provides for us. You know, the more I see it, the less I like it. I knew I was gonna have a hard time going into this. Didn't know I was gonna have this hard of a time though. I think what it is I need this to not be there. I need something to be more here. Like walking into here, I feel like we've lost the balance that we had. I have to, I'm gonna tear it down. Alright, it's gone, and I've also done a bit more terraforming right there to give myself more space, because I do think I want something on this side, right? I just really think it has to be a little bit more spaced out from this build. I need myself to breathe for I guess what we're going for. Now we might have to dig in some more actually here. I want to try to keep that curvature. This really isn't like a big deal. A lot of people build in survival. I'm sure most people do. But at this point, it's just for me. I just think it's cool, like what people manage to build without planning anything out. And I wanna be one of those cool people, you know? Quite a bit of terraforming there. By the way, I'm ill now. It's been a day or two since that last recording. Discounting if I did voiceovers. Anyway, if you hear that my voice, I apologize, but really, deal with it. So yeah, quite a bit has changed here, and I want to explain a bit why. So I'm in a better mind space now. A bit less pressure on myself. Maybe it's the NyQuil. But what I did is when I removed that build that was there, the frame, I took a screenshot of our area here. And I can't really draw that well. I haven't drawn in a long time. But I thought I'd sketch out the area. Here's my drawing. So doing that made me realize something crucial about what was mentally blocking me earlier. This house here is like the main event of this area, right? Now, I think it was in the Cuttlefish video that he was talking about how back in the day a lot of builds were like secondary builds or supporting builds, which was in the back of my mind and I think explains what my issue was. This house is the main event of the area. You know, right from episode 1, once I started like building the house, I had that very specific shot in mind, which is just about like the shot from here, walking into this section of the mountain. That's the main event right there. We had the path leading up to it on the left. Now the issue with the build here, not only was it just me throwing things together from what I had like in my mind, is that it was clashing with the main event. It's like if I was trying to make two main events at the same time. But drawing it out, you can see here that I took the house way onto the right side of the picture. What I wanted here was not another main event. What I wanted was a supporting build for this shot here, this viewpoint of our area. Which, by the way, doesn't have a name just yet. I write Zordo's Abode everywhere just because it's like literally what it is. So yeah, I got to terraforming. Being sick too, it was a bit easier for me to just focus on doing that. And I think I learned a bit terraforming this. Like, you can probably see in the time lapse. I'm not sure. I think for this I showed a proper time lapse compared to what I usually do. A lot of going back and forth, and we'll come back to this and for sure like texture it and make it blend in more as well as the edge. Probably not in today's episode because it'll probably be a bit too much, but we'll see. I also start school in 3 days, so we'll see how much time we have. But I do think already, compared to when we started today, this view is way more complete than it was, and I'm already really happy. Now, the plans have changed, of course. We're not going to make a big Potion Master shop. We're going to have a supporting shack here, probably. Probably a bit more simplistic in style than what I was building. But that, to be fair, does fit with our aesthetic that we have going with the cabin here, or the house, rather. The sketching it out really was fun, and it feels like it made me realize what the issue was. So maybe try it out every now and again. So we got our tarn in place here. And looking up photos of tarns, I haven't looked into like exactly the scientific reasons for tarns existing and stuff, but I think we're going to keep it very, very fairly dirt-y, like really just have a lot of dirt on the edges. We'll probably have like a mix of maybe some mossy cobblestone here and there throughout this, but probably a lot of rooted dirt, and I can't remember what the other one is. Coarse dirt around here. That'll probably just like gradient down into mud towards the middle to make it a bit darker, because I feel like tarns in the photos that I can see, they're either turquoise or they're a very deep blue. Now we can't change the watercolor in Minecraft, but we can darken down here. Doesn't make sense for there to be fish in here, but I might. I'll see how I feel. I think, even though it doesn't make sense for a tarn, I think I might add some vegetation and some wildlife in here. Wonder how this looks with shaders. Wow, pretty. That's pretty awesome. These are soulless shaders. Let's try another one real quick. I'm just curious. Let's see. Let's go with pastel. It's so pretty. For the most part, I like vanilla Minecraft, but sometimes you do get that urge to have what the... Oh boy, let's get rid of that. Get better. Okay, so what I was saying, sometimes I think my ideal shader pack, oh I forget, it screws up my clouds all the time, would probably be like vanilla Minecraft, maybe some tweaked fog, maybe including better clouds. I almost like the better clouds more than the photorealistic clouds. And honestly, I just like the water. Like, if I like Minecraft water, but I like just like the shader water typically. This is what we have so far. And this might come off as a bit of a cop-out, but I quite like it. It's so simple. Going against what I have been wanting to try to do lately. I kind of did this with music as well, where I tried to make things like more complicated as time goes on, but like sometimes that's not the place. And you know, this is really just a rectangle with a basic roof. There's some slabbage going on. It's very, very understated, but for this area here, I really do think it's what we want. Walk across here, you know, it fits in. Obviously it's very bland right now, but I feel like it makes sense from all viewpoints. You might have seen I like tried to add some more shapes to this, but always took them down. It might really just be me not trusting myself, but I really do think having this more simplistic really fits what we're going for. More like a shack kind of thing. Maybe we could add a small chimney here to kind of break the shape a little bit. I mean, do you see it? It's working. It's working. I'm becoming more intentional with my texturing. A lot to learn still, but I added this little extension here, which I might come back and tweak, just because the texturing here I had a hard time getting it down. So I just pulled out a section here. The top where I have the stairs kind of like got lost from afar, which might not be the worst thing. So I added like a layer of walls here, kind of separate the base and the top. And then like right now I've just tried out the just like full-on walls. We kind of like a half vertical slab thing going, and I think I like it. I think it's cool. Alright, so before the reveal, depending on how much I showed you in the possible time lapse, let's update these maps. Oh, that's looking sick. Why does it do that? Why do that? I love it. The roofs are weird looking, but we'll deal with it. The path actually looks kind of cool. That brown outline was there the other day. Doing that. Which actually does look kind of cool. I don't know. Honestly, the leaves don't make sense there, but I do kind of like how it outlines it more clearly. We'll see. Maybe we can do something with that. But here it is. What do you guys think? Potion Master Shop or Shack? Maybe. Probably doesn't give off that vibe, but, you know, kind of like in music where you gotta serve the song and not serve yourself. I feel like this here was serving the area, serving the picture, rather than serving my ego. And I think we pulled it off. I quite like what we've done here today, even though our plans have shifted slightly. I think this place is really coming along, and I'm a bit less embarrassed now when people come over and I only have like my house done after nearly a month. To be fair, my shop is at spawn, so you can't see it most of the time. Let's take a quick look around of the shack here. I still think I'm going to make it potion related, but I guess that'll be more in the future that we'll decide that. So the main viewing angle is from here, and I do think we're going to stick with the walls. So it just has an interesting change of depth. So for the wall texturings, same kind of idea as we did with the house. This one's a bit more stony and a bit darker than the house. There's a bit more tuff incorporated in places, and I think it allows it to feel a bit more, I guess, old and grungy, I suppose. Once again, we got overhangs on the front and back with like the 2 slabs that are offset, but no overhangs on the side, which is something that I've been enjoying a lot lately. We got like this little pattern kind of up here, and this is very, very reminiscent. Like, I feel like since Sanctuary SMP and maybe even the episode before that in my Forever World, I've been kind of reiterating the same kind of ideas again and again, which to me really feels like I'm practicing techniques and ideas. So it's been really fun. This kind of pattern here is very reminiscent of the roof trim that was on my house in Sanctuary SMP. So to keep with the color scheme, a lot of the same blocks like I mentioned. We have copper for the doors here. I was gonna go with like the rusted one more level, more green, but I think this fits this build more. A little framing for the door here. And for the roof, we still got the granite and brick texturing going on, as well as the jungle wood, but, and I don't think this is a problem even though they do appear in the same shot most of the time. Here I use it more for highlights. Here I used it, whoops, more so to accentuate the damage, which you can see from these 3 scoops here. So what that is, ow, is campfires with like jungle wood around it, and I think it's cool. It looks a bit more run down, like there's dips in the roof, and despite it being a simple shape for a roof, it gives it a bit more character. We have another window. This has to octasize, so in due time I'll honeycomb that. And I don't know what to call this. This is the same idea as what we have here, but I tried to make it like a bit bigger in scale, or like this whole window, and I think it works with the way it is, and a little fence thing here. And there's something interesting that I noticed, and I'm not too sure what is causing this. Actually, is it my lights mod? No, it's not. Okay. This is all spruce. Well, that's jungle, but this is all spruce, but this looks significantly darker than this, and I'm not too sure why. And well, with that being done, I think this is a good place to call it for today's episode. These last few days, building and recording, I've been a lot more comfortable. I've been less stressed out than I was in the first days of recording, so I'd say that this little experiment, which really sounds so dramatic because it's just playing Minecraft, but you know, I think it was a success. Now, are we going to do this every episode? Probably not. I'm like going to open up creative and Litematica, and well, actually I'm less so, but you know, for the next episodes. But this gives me comfort in every now and again maybe doing some more freehand things, especially for like smaller things and more details. I'm actually surprised how much I could texture with this in survival, but to be fair, we had practice with this one here. That's like been like 5 times tonight. So yeah, I am quite proud of myself. By the way, you might be saying, there's no interior. Yeah, you're right. I think next episode is going to be all about interiors. For my house, and for this build as well. It'll be a bit more manageable as I get back into the school routine, I think. So, with that being said, thank y'all for watching, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. See ya!